Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Abhishek Mukhopadhyay with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls for concerted global efforts in the fight against COVID-19, urges international community to fight against terrorism and fake news. India to operate 64 special flights to bring back 14,800 nationals from 12 countries. 2.8 million hydroxychloroquine tablets supplied by India to 25 countries. States gear up for compliance of the Home Ministry guidelines in Lockdown 3.0. JEE mains to be held from 18th to 23rd July and NEET examination to be conducted on 26th July. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres says tackling corona pandemic requires the most massive public health effort in history. And 4 civilians and 2 security personnel injured in a terrorist attack in Budgam, Srinagar. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has emphasised on coordinated approach to fight against COVID-19. Speaking at virtual non-aligned movement summit yesterday through video conferencing, Prime Minister Modi said the world needs a new template of globalization post the pandemic. The template will be based on fairness, equality and humanity. The Prime Minister said the non-aligned movement can help promote global solidarity and it must remain inclusive.
Today, humanity faces its most serious crisis in many decades. At this time, the non-allied movement can help promote global solidarity. NAM has often been the world's moral voice. To retain this role, NAM must remain inclusive. In the post-COVID world, we need a new template of globalization based on fairness, equality and humanity.
At the summit, the Prime Minister urged the global community to fight against the issues of terrorism and fake news. He added that his focus remains on spreading the positives.
Even as the world fights COVID-19, some people are busy spreading other deadly viruses such as terrorism, fake news and doctored videos to divide communities and countries. But I want to focus only on the positives, on what we as a movement can do together to help the world fight this health crisis.
The Prime Minister added that India is regarded as the pharmacy of the world, especially for affordable medicines. He added that despite its own needs during the COVID-19 pandemic, India has ensured supply of medicines to 123 partner countries, including 59 NAM members. He also said the country is active in global efforts to develop remedies and vaccines for COVID-19. He said during this crisis, India has shown how democracy, discipline and decisiveness can come together to create a genuine people's movement. The Union Government has prepared a detailed roadmap to repatriate over 14,800 stranded Indian citizens from abroad in light of the coronavirus pandemic. Indians stranded in the UAE, the United States, UK, Singapore, Malaysia, the Philippines, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain, Oman and Bangladesh will be brought back to the country in a phased manner. The repatriation beginning from Thursday will be carried out through 64 flights in the first week. Out of the total, 15 flights will bring back people to Kerala, followed by 11 flights to Tamil Nadu and Delhi. 7 flights will be flying back people to Maharashtra and Telangana, whereas 5 flights are slated for Gujarat. Maximum number of flights in the first week of repatriation will bring back citizens from the Gulf countries. The Navy has confirmed that 3 of its ships are on the mission to get back stranded citizens from the Maldives and the UAE. INS Jalashwa and INS Magar will bring back Indians from the Maldives. INS Shardul has been diverted to Dubai to bring back the expatriates from the West Asian countries. The government has clarified that only asymptomatic passengers would be allowed to travel, and strict adherence to the Standard Operating Protocol SOP for the complete process has to be followed by the carriers. State governments have been advised to make arrangements including for testing, quarantine and onward movement of the citizens upon their return.
Amidst the global pandemic, Government of India will facilitate the return of more than 5,000 distressed Indians from various countries in the Gulf within a week. The government yesterday announced that it will facilitate the return of Indian nationals stranded abroad in compelling circumstances in a phased manner, starting from the 7th of this month. The Indian missions in the Gulf are all gearing up for this massive operation. India has been supplying hydroxychloroquine and essential medicines to other countries in the midst of COVID-19 pandemic. These supplies are taking place both as humanitarian aid as well as on a commercial basis. External Affairs Ministry spokesman Anurag Srivastava has said that even in these challenging times, India has remained responsible in living up to international commitments. This has enhanced country's reputation of being the pharmacy to the world. A report.
India has already provided 2.8 million hydroxychloroquine tablets as grant assistance to 25 countries. The country has also provided paracetamol, about 1.9 million tablets, as well as in another form to 31 countries. In addition, consignments of hydroxychloroquine and paracetamol are being sent to 87 countries on a commercial basis. External Affairs Ministry has been playing a key role in the Empowered Group that deals with ensuring availability of essential medical equipments to augment national health preparedness. India's missions and posts remain at the forefront of these efforts and have played a critical role in sourcing vital medical supplies and equipment from different countries. New Delhi continues to remain in touch with friends and partners across the world as part of collaborative approach to dealing with the pandemic. It has also responded promptly to requests for deployment of rapid response teams comprising doctors, nurses and paramedics to deal with the pandemic. These teams have so far been deployed in Maldives and Kuwait at the request of their governments. Suparna Saikia, AIR News, Delhi.
Medical equipment, medicines and other supplies sent from India to Myanmar was handed over by Indian Ambassador to Myanmar, Saurav Kumar, to the Ministry of Health and Sports at Yangon Airport today. India stands in solidarity with the people and Myanmar government in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic. Indian Embassy in Myanmar said these medical supplies are reflective of the united effort needed to combat this disease. The contribution is indicative of the traditionally warm and friendly ties between India and Myanmar and would augment Myanmar's determined efforts to fight the pandemic.
United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has said that overcoming the coronavirus pandemic will require the most massive public health effort in history. Addressing the European Union Pledging Conference in Brussels, Guterres said, "It is an interconnected world where none of us is safe until all of us are safe." His remarks came as the world leaders yesterday pledged 7.4 billion euros or approximately $8.2 billion to support the research and development for medicines to fight the COVID-19. So far, over 2.5 lakh people have died and more than 3.6 million globally are infected. Leaders from 40 countries came together to support the Access to COVID-19 Tools Accelerator through the COVID-19 Global Response International Pledging event hosted by the European Commission. Mr. Guterres pointed to the last month's launch of the landmark effort initiated by the World Health Organization, WHO, and a range of leading countries to speed up the scientific breakthrough needed to get the coronavirus under control, known as the ACT Accelerator. He welcomed the contribution and the launch of the ACT Accelerator, a landmark global collaboration to speed up development, production and equitable access to new COVID-19 diagnostics, therapeutics and vaccines. The UN chief said these new tools can help the world fully control the pandemic and must be treated as global public goods available and affordable for all. Back home, a total of 3,900 new confirmed cases of COVID-19 have been reported in the country during the last 24 hours. The total number of cases in the country are now 46,400. 433. Health and Family Welfare Ministry said that 12,727 patients have been cured so far, and the recovery rate has gone up to 27.40%. During the last 24 hours, 195 deaths have been reported. 1,568 people have died of the disease so far.
Indian Council of Medical Research, ICMR, has said that a total of 11,91,946 samples of COVID-19 have been tested by the various government and private laboratories in the country so far. ICMR is continuously scaling up its testing facilities for COVID-19 by giving approval to government and private laboratories. As of now, 320 government laboratories and 114 private laboratories chains have been given approval to conduct the test for COVID-19. Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Jan Aushadhi Kendras accepting orders for medicines on WhatsApp and email amid lockdown. Medicines are delivered at the doorsteps of the patients on the basis of uploaded prescriptions. This novel move to ensure use of technology for facilitating easier procurement of medicines by the users. Complementing this initiative, Union Minister for Chemicals and Fertilizers Sadananda Gowda said, "It is heartening that many Jan Aushadhi Kendras are using modern communication tools to provide essential medicines to the needy. At present, there are over 6,300 such Kendras functioning in 726 districts at affordable prices. These medicines are cheaper by about 50 to 90% on an average."
In our series Experts Speak on All India Radio, we bring you views of leading medical experts on COVID-19. Dr. M.V. Padma, head of Neurosciences Centre, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi, has said that people need to stay home to stay safe and break the chain of transmission of COVID-19.
A virus has invaded our earth. It has invaded us. And there are zillion concerns. There are concerns about our survival, about food, about education, about career, about profession, about our movements. But these are questions for the first time in 3 generations that we are facing. But they're of relevance only if we are alive. To stay alive, stay home.
Dr. Neeraj Nishchal, Associate Professor Medicine in All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Delhi, tells us why the lockdown is essential and why it is required to follow the advisories.
This is a new virus, so it has got a very big ego. It will not come to your house unless you go out and invite it. So stay home, stay safe.
For listening to other experts, tune in to our next bulletin. The News Services Division of All India Radio and its bilingual live phone-in program today will bring you a special discussion program on COVID-19. Dr. Aparna Agarwal, Professor Medicine, Lady Hardinge Medical College, will participate in the discussion. Listeners can ask questions to the experts on toll-free telephone number 1800-115767. Repeat, 1800-115767. One can also ask questions on telephone number 011-2331-4444. Repeat, 011-2331-4444. And post queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. This can be heard tonight on FM Gold Channel and additional frequencies. From 9:25 p.m. onwards, this program will also be available on our website, newsonair.com, and on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official. You can also follow us on the News on AIR app for updates.
You were listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls for concerted global efforts in the fight against COVID-19. Urges international community to fight against terrorism and fake news. India to operate 64 special flights to bring back 14,800 nationals from 12 countries. 2.8 million hydroxychloroquine tablets supplied by India to 25 countries. States gear up for compliance of the Home Ministry guidelines in Lockdown 3.0. JEE mains to be held from 18 to 23rd July and NEET examination to be conducted on 26 July. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres says tackling corona pandemic requires the most massive public health effort in history. And 4 civilians and 2 security personnel injured in a terrorist attack in Budgam, Srinagar. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
Human Resources Development Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank today announced that joint entrance examination JEE mains are to be held from the 18th to the 23rd of July, interacting with students from across the country. The minister said the JEE advanced will be held in August and the dates will be announced soon.
आप लोगों ने अभी जेईई मेन का आपको चर्चा की है और 18, 20, 21, 22 और 23 जेईई एडवांस अगस्त में होगा और उसकी तिथि भी हम आपको अवगत कराएंगे। मेरी शुभकामना है कि आप खूब अच्छी तैयारी करें और आप चिंतित मत होइए। ये वक्त आपको मिल रहा है, ये हो सकता है ये वक्त कई बार परेशानियां आदमी को और ऊंचाइयां देने के लिए होती हैं।
Mr. Nishank said National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test NEET will be held on the 26th of July. The HRD minister said the decision will be taken on pending CBSE Class 10th and 12th board exams soon. The two crucial exams were postponed due to the lockdown imposed in the country to combat COVID-19. All ranks of Central Industrial Security Force CISF personnel have voluntarily contributed one day's salary to PM CARES Fund. Director General of CISF Rajesh Ranjan today handed over a cheque of 16 crore 23 lakh 82,357 rupees to Home Minister Amit Shah in New Delhi. CISF said it stands firmly with the nation in this fight against COVID-19.
Non-banking financial companies have asked the Reserve Bank of India, RBI, to allow them one-time restructuring of all loans till March 2021. The request was made by them as the borrowers are facing funding issues amid the coronavirus pandemic and the subsequent lockdown. Currently, RBI has allowed banks and NBFCs for a one-time restructuring of existing loans to MSMEs till December 2020. NBFCs want that the one-time restructuring should be allowed for all other borrowers as well. These suggestions were made by the industry players in the meeting with the RBI held yesterday in Mumbai. The industry body said all their customers are facing disruptions in cash flow cycles, which is likely to be there for the major part of this fiscal. The most affected segments include transport operators, contractors and micro, small and medium enterprises. Many states are implementing the relaxations announced by the Ministry of Home Affairs for the third phase of lockdown, which came into effect from yesterday. Certain activities have been permitted in green, orange and red zones with certain restrictions. These relaxations have been aimed at easing out the difficulties faced by daily wagers, migrant workers and other persons in distress.
The Textiles Ministry has assured farmers in Maharashtra that the Cotton Corporation of India, CCI, is fully prepared to purchase cotton at minimum support price in the state during the ongoing lockdown. The MSP operations are continuing and CCI's procurement is currently on at 34 centres in the state. The ministry's move comes amid concerns that traders may not offer a better price in view of the pandemic situation, forcing farmers to avail the MSP rates. More from our Mumbai correspondent.
The Textile Ministry has said the procurement is regulated by states' agriculture produce market committees, APMCs, and 27 centres are coming under red zones, wherein procurement is expected to pick up this week. In the remaining 22 centres, the state government has been approached by the CCI for issue of passes and tokens to farmers to bring cotton, and the matter is being constantly monitored by the Ministry of Textiles through daily status reports on arrival of farmers and procurement at the APMCs. The District Collector of Latur ordered closure of all liquor shops in district till further orders to prevent spread of coronavirus and said action would be taken against the liquor shop owners and citizens disobeying orders. Meanwhile, in a positive story, Dr. Rajendra Chandorkar from Alibag, a beach town near Mumbai, himself drove an ambulance 1.5 kilometers away and ferried baby to be admitted to the ICU of the hospital, thus saving his life. Sonali Ghadar Patil, AIR News, Mumbai.
In Karnataka, the COVID-19 positive cases till date are 659, which includes 28 deaths and 324 discharges. 8 new positive cases were reported today from Bengaluru urban, Bagalkot, Bellary, Dakshin Kannada and Uttara Kannada. One death is reported from Vijayapura of a 62-year-old woman who was suffering from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease and bronchial asthma. More from our correspondent.
The Health and Family Welfare Minister in the state, B. Sri Ramalu, released a booklet on Ayush advisory to improve immune system to combat the pandemic. 33% of staff have started coming to government departments university today. The registration of migrant labor wishing to go to their hometowns continues. Those travelling out of Bengaluru in public transport were given masks, food and water. Inter-district movement is allowed with passes. The police are ensuring that all those coming out wear masks. Drones are being used to keep a watch on places where crowd gathers. Barricades on several roads connecting to main roads have been removed in Bengaluru to prevent traffic jams. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
In Telangana, another Shramik special train carrying over 1,200 migrant workers left for Bihar from Ghatkesar railway station in Telangana this morning. This is the second train that left from Telangana carrying migrant workers to the home states ever since the Union Home Ministry announced relaxations in lockdown. The state government is likely to take crucial decisions relating to the continuation of lockdown and relaxations in green zone districts today at the cabinet meeting to be held later today. Thousands of migrant workers began registering themselves for travelling to other states with the registering centres set up by police in Hyderabad. More from a correspondent.
The state government has already announced that 40 trains will be operated every day for 1 week to facilitate migrant workers to reach their home states. It also appointed Senior IAS Officer Sandeep Kumar Sultania and Additional Director General of Police Jitendra as special officers to oversee the return of the stranded workers. The migrant workers who are registering with the local police stations will be sent by these special trains. Over 1,200 migrant workers has left for Bihar this morning. Meanwhile, thousands of migrant workers are thronging the local police stations for registering themselves to go back to their home states, and the local authorities are being forced to use convention halls to process their registration as they are in huge numbers. Lakshmi, AR News, Hyderabad.
Tamil Nadu has intensified testing of people in major COVID-19 hotspots. Yesterday, more than 12,800 samples were lifted from people, leading to the identification of 527 new cases, most of them asymptomatic to the disease. Furthermore, the state government has increased the VAT on petroleum products that would increase petrol price by 3.25 a litre and diesel by 2.50 rupees per litre. To augment income, it has also announced reopening of the state-run liquor outlets from Thursday. More from a correspondent.
Officials in Tamil Nadu have said all the people in the COVID-19 focus areas are being tested even if they are not showing any signs of the disease. Focus areas are those from where a considerable number of patients have been reported. They say the approach proves to be fruitful as many asymptomatic patients have been identified and isolated. They say this is the reason for the spike in the number of new cases for the past few days, which is no cause of concern, as the number would decline after peaking. Meanwhile, the state government decision to reopen liquor shops have come in for sharp criticism from almost the entire opposition and also the PMK, a major coalition partner of the ruling AIADMK. Jai Singh, AIR News, Chennai.
The shipping department of Andaman and Nicobar is in the process to send stranded persons from Port Blair to Chennai. The department has initiated a one-time sailing of its marine vehicles in between the islands. On the first day, ships have transported a total of 220 stranded people. Patients and students were transported between various islands of the south as well as north and middle Andaman district. The sailing will be continued based on the request being received from time to time. Kerala is getting ready to welcome non-resident Indians from abroad as 4 flights carrying expatriates are expected to arrive on Thursday.
Out of the 4 flights to arrive in Kerala on Thursday, 2 will be coming from UAE and 1 flight each from Qatar and Saudi Arabia. Flights from UAE are scheduled to Kochi and Karipur Airport, whereas flights from Qatar and Saudi Arabia are scheduled to Cochin International Airport on the first day of arrival. 200 passengers are expected in each flight. The state government expects nearly 15,000 expats to arrive in the state in the first phase of evacuation. Meanwhile, 3 naval ships are also being sent to evacuate citizens stranded in the Maldives and UAE. INS Jalashwa and INS Magar being sent to Maldives and INS Shardul that is being sent to Dubai. The district administration have made necessary arrangements in all major airports and ports for medical screening of passengers, quarantine facilities and COVID care centers with enough facilities of isolation beds and medical arrangements including ventilators. High-level meeting is going on in Thiruvananthapuram under the Chief Minister to take stock of the preparations and to implement the center's guidelines considering the situation in the state. Mayusha for AR News from Thiruvananthapuram.
In Madhya Pradesh, permission has been granted to the industrial activities in red and orange zones with some restrictions under the new guidelines in the state during the third lockdown. More from a correspondent.
As the new guidelines issued by Principal Secretary Dr. Rajesh Rajora for the large, medium, small and micro industries, the state government has clearly stated that no industrial activity will be permitted in containment zone of red and orange districts. Workers, laborers and officers living in the containment zone will not be allowed to work in any industries operating in the districts of red, orange and green zones. All the industrial activities will be conducted only in the rural areas outside the containment area of these districts. On the other hand, it will be mandatory to get permission from the District Crisis Management Group to operate industries in urban areas outside the containment zone of the district of red and orange zone. All type of industries can be started in the district of green zones. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
In Gujarat, 2 COVID-19 positive cases were reported in Junagadh district, which was so far COVID-19 free and declared green district. Junagadh collector in a tweet said one doctor and his peon were found positive. Contact tracing is underway to stop the further spread of the virus. AIR correspondent reports that 32 out of total 33 districts have been affected by COVID-19. Now, Amreli is the only district in the state which is still unaffected by coronavirus. In Rajasthan, the normal life in rural areas and small towns is slowly returning to the track with the relaxation given by the government in the third phase of the lockdown. More from a correspondent.
Except Jaipur, Jodhpur and some other cities, markets are gradually opening up in other districts and people are handling their essential work with utmost care. Life in rural areas is returning to track. Economic activities are also being conducted in all cities of the state. More than 190 large industrial units have been restarted in the state. Work has also been started in more than 7,300 MSME industrial units. Industry Minister Prasadilal Meena told that production has started in 24 major cement factories, providing direct and indirect employment to thousands of people. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
In Bihar, the number of cured patients from coronavirus infection has gone up to 134. In all, 391 patients are undergoing treatment in various hospitals of the state. The number of positive cases is 529 in 32 districts of the state. There are 74 containment areas in the state. NDRF teams have been deployed in hotspot and containment areas of the state. The state government has announced ex gratia of 10 lakh rupees to the next of kin of the deceased of sanitization workers. Meanwhile, Bihar Vidhan Sabha Speaker Vijay Kumar Chaudhary has convened a special meeting of legislature party leaders of all political parties this afternoon to discuss the COVID-19 related crisis in the state. The meeting will be held through video conferencing at 4:30 p.m. The Speaker said Chief Minister Nitish Kumar and Deputy Chief Minister Sushil Kumar Modi would represent the state government in the meeting. The Uttar Pradesh government has launched a special portal for the registration of those persons who are stranded in other parts of the country due to lockdown and want to return to their native places in a state. The website is jansunwai.up.nic.in, and anybody who wants to return to Uttar Pradesh or wants to go back from Uttar Pradesh can fill the details on the website, and the government will manage the process for their return accordingly.
Delhi government has increased value-added tax on auto fuels. VAT on petrol has been hiked from 27% to 30% and on diesel from 16.75% to 30%. This hike will make petrol costlier by 1 rupee 67 paise and diesel by 7 rupees 10 paise in the national capital. In Jammu and Kashmir, a group of terrorists attacked a bunker of the Central Reserve Police Force at Bakherpora area of Budgam district by hurling a hand grenade on it. 4 civilians, 1 personnel each of CRPF and Special Operations Group of J&K Police were injured in the incident. The details are awaited.
The mortal remains of Colonel Ashutosh Sharma, who was martyred in an encounter in Kashmir, were consigned to flames with full military honours in Jaipur today. His wife, Pallavi Sharma, and his brother lit the funeral pyre amid chanting of Vedic mantras at Purani Chungi cremation ground. Other family members and army officers were also present. In Chandigarh, the mortal remains of Major Anuj Sood, who sacrificed his life for the country at Kupwara, were consigned to flames today at Mani Majra cremation ground with full military honours. President Ramnath Kovind today paid tributes to former President Gyani Zail Singh on his 104th birth anniversary. And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls for concerted global efforts in the fight against COVID-19, urges international community to fight against terrorism and fake news. India to operate 64 special flights to bring back 14,800 nationals from 12 countries, 2.8 million hydroxychloroquine tablets supplied by India to 25 countries. States gear up for compliance of Home Ministry guidelines in Lockdown 3.0, JEE mains to be held from 18th to 23rd July and NEET examination to be conducted on 26th July. And with that we end the midday news.